Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be testing out some new things that I picked up recently from Ulta Beauty. I actually picked up these things during their sale, which I know was like 2 weeks ago. This box has been sitting on my floor for a little while. We're finally getting into testing these products out together today. I have something from the brand Versed. I have some RMS Beauty here that we're testing out for the first time, a couple of drugstore products, and an eyeshadow palette that's been around forever that I am finally getting around to trying out. And I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with it so far. So we will do that all together in this video today. I hope that you guys are excited about it. Before we get into it, if you are new here, I want to wish you a special welcome. Please be sure that you subscribe to my channel and make sure that your notifications are turned on. And with that out of the way, let's jump right into it. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through the few things that I picked up. I already have my foundation and my primer on, but I do have a new concealer that we're gonna be trying out today. This is from the brand Versed. I've heard a few good things about this brand. Their products look really interesting. They're kind of in that, like, they're not really drugstore, but they're also a little cheaper than most high-end products. I also picked up a new highlighter from RMS Beauty. This is my first try from this brand, even though I know they've been around for a long time. This is a Hydra Dew Luminizer. So it's a highlighter that sounds like it might have a bit of a creaminess to it. Hopefully I get along with that. I'm not always a fan of liquid or cream highlighters. I like my highlighters to kind of just be traditional powders. I also picked up the NYX Warm Neutrals palette. This thing's been around forever. I've heard people talking about these NYX eyeshadow palettes for so long, and I'm finally getting around to trying one out. I think I got this on sale. The thing that steered me clear of these for so long is they're not that large and they're $20, which I think is a little bit high. I don't know, NYX is one of those brands. We'll kind of talk about it once we get closer to applying it. I also picked up some cream blushes. These are from the brand J-Cat Beauty. I got two shades, this bright pink one and this bright orange one. Maybe these aren't as pigmented as they look in the pan. They're kind of scary looking off the bat, but we'll see how they go on. And then I got a lip liner. This is just a replacement. This is the LA Girl Ultimate Intense Wear Auto Liner in Nonstop Nude, which you guys know I love. I will link everything else that I'm wearing down below. I have my brows done, my foundation and primer on. Let's jump straight into the concealer. So this is from Versed. I picked up the shade 4W. This is their serum concealer. Has 0.25 ounces in it. The bottle looks very large. Initially, when I opened this up, or pulled this out of my box, I thought, wow, this is pretty big. Maybe there's a lot of product in here. 0.25 is kind of, it's not a ton, but it's not bad. I mean, I have one from Pretty Smart that's from the drugstore. That one only has like 0.18 ounces, so that one is particularly slim on the amount of product that you get. Some of the ones I think give you the best value are the e.l.f. concealers, my Estee Lauder concealer, my Dior concealer. Those both have, I think, closer to 0.4 ounces in them. So here's the shade 4W. This is the spoolie. Kind of chubby, interesting shape. It literally looks like a boot or a cat foot. So here's the shade on the back of my hand. This looks like a really good shade. Okay, ignore my tan line. Should have put my watch back on. I had a baseball tournament this last weekend and spent a lot of time out in the sun. So some weird tan lines. You guys could see my feet. Seems very pigmented just based on that swatch. I think this shade will work pretty well for me. It might be a little light on like the middle of my cheek. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and just go for it today. So I'm just gonna tap this on with my finger, then we'll blend it out with a brush. A little bit on the eyelid. Okay, I'm back to the doe foot. We'll just put the rest on with the doe foot. I don't always tap it on with my finger. I usually just go straight in just to make it quicker. And I have a lot of discoloration today. Again, baseball tournament. I start getting that like sun kind of like hyperpigmentation mask that starts to kind of peek through. It's like way below the surface. You can barely see it. I get it on my lip. So it almost looks like I have this like very faint mustache. And for how faint it is initially, it's so hard to cover up. Okay, let's just blend that in with a brush today. Try and get the most coverage out of it. So this is just my Angie Hot and Flashy concealer brush. Seems really nice and hydrating so far, but not too oily or anything. I mean, feels like this is gonna sink in nicely, set down nicely, hopefully. This is usually where I'll really see how high of coverage I get from a concealer. If it can cover up this spot, we know we're dealing with a really high coverage concealer. I would say this is like solid medium. It's covering it, but it's definitely peeking through still. Let me know if you guys have tried other things out from this brand. I thought about picking a few things up from them, but decided to keep my order kind of on the small side. I don't think that this was on sale. This was one of the few things that I think I picked up full price. I could be wrong, honestly, guys. This video I was supposed to film a while ago. This box has been sitting on my floor for about 4 days, but again, back to the baseball tournament. It was a busy weekend. So far, so good. Seems to be covering well. I'm gonna set it down with a little bit of powder. So I have right here, this is old. This is my Tarte Glow Bar. Has a bronzer and then two, these are really highlighters, but they're also kind of, I don't know, they're kind of like more setting powders to me. They don't give a ton of shine, so I like to use these sometimes to set down my eyelids and kind of my forehead. Just give myself a little bit of a glow for summertime. Tap a little bit on some of these spots that I covered up. Okay, skin looks great. Let's add a little bit of bronzer and then we'll get over to the new blush and the highlighter. So I'm just gonna go back to the Glow Bar. We're gonna use the bronzer in here. I'm not sure if they still sell this thing. I like the powders. You guys know how I'm about powders. They're okay, but I love this bronzer. It's very warm. I'm gonna use a large powder brush for this, but it's really pretty for summertime. It has a really nice soft glow to it. Okay, I might have got a little bit too much. Gotten a little bit too much. Is it gotten? Picked up a little bit too much. Let's use that. Okay, let's jump over to these interesting blushes. So these are the blush mallows from JCat Beauty. I like the packaging. They look like the old school MAC packaging. So I got two shades. This one is Sweet and Chic. I swear I thought I picked up the two lighter looking or less intense looking of the shades that they had. Maybe I was wrong. This looks insanely, okay. No, I just don't think there's any way I can get a blush that pigmented. Maybe, oh gosh, I don't know. That one scares me a little bit. Let's take a look at the coral one. This one is in the shade Tutti Fluffy. Is that right? I feel like it should be Tutti Fruity. I'm hoping that they blend out really well. This one definitely looks a little more of like a wearable like color for me. It's not quite as purpley. I'm still a little intimidated by the pigmentation on these, so we're gonna go at this very gently. I'm gonna take a blush, the blush that I typically use for these type, actually, I don't know. So I'm debating between, I feel like this dense brush that I love using with most of my cream and kind of like jelly blush sticks or even liquid blushes. I'm afraid this is gonna be a little bit too dense. So what I think I'm actually gonna do is just use a traditional fluffy blush brush. We're gonna pick up a little bit, just tap it in a few times. I'm gonna swirl that on the back of my hand just to make sure I don't have too much product on there. Again, the one I'm using is Tutti Fluffy. I hate that name. I'm sorry, I just feel like it should rhyme or something. I don't know. I don't know why that bothers me, but it kind of does. Hopefully I got enough of the excess off. We're just slowly gonna tap this right on the cheeks. Okay, that's not bad. I like the larger brush with this though. That seems like that was a good call. Good job, Mandy. I really like this color. Very corally for summer, very pretty. Okay, not bad. I was very afraid of those and now I'm a little bit more curious about this one. We'll have to come back to this one, but I am gonna go back to the brush that I used with my foundation and just lightly go around the edges. I feel like I got a little bit strong in the front area there, so I'm just gonna kind of tap some of that out. There we go. Okay, let's jump over to the highlighter. So I'm very excited to try this out, but I have to say, I hope I didn't make a mistake. So I initially had the Becca, and I think it's Smashbox Becca highlighter. Is it Smashbox and Becca that have teamed up? The old school Becca highlighters. So I have a mini of Opal that I have loved for a very long time. I save it for special occasions and take it with me traveling because it's the perfect size. So I thought about picking up a full size of the Becca Opal highlighter. That was in my cart. It wasn't on sale or anything, but then I saw this RMS Beauty one was on sale. So I ended up going with this one instead. I hope I didn't make a mistake. The color of this one, I'm gonna tell you guys, looks a little intimidating to me. It looks very strongly gold. Let's give it a little swatch. Okay, it doesn't look as gold, whereas like, almost looks iridescent looking at it in the pan. I don't feel like it looks that way when swatched. Interesting. I was worried it would feel too creamy. This definitely feels more like a powder, like a traditional powder formula than a cream. Curious how this is going to apply. So I'm going to take my, let's go with my Morphe. This is the Morphe M164. Cross our fingers. That's a pretty color. Very pretty. You guys tell me, what from this brand do you really love? I know there are a lot of people that love this brand. Their reviews are really good on most of their products. There's been a few times that I've had some sale items from them in my cart, either from Sephora or from Ulta, and I end up taking them out. I always end up pulling so many things out of my cart because once I get past the $100 mark, I'm like, for someone that has so much makeup, I really should not be spending more than $100 on makeup products at any one time. Okay. That's nice. I don't know if I'd say subtle. I mean, it's definitely like a visible highlighter, but it's a very refined sheen. It's very pretty. I like the color as well. If you have extremely fair skin, you might have an issue with this color, which by the way, I don't think I even said what color it was. It's Prosecco Fizz. It's more peach than gold. It actually is more of like a beigey peach. Okay, so far so good. I feel like we're 3 for 3 so far. Let's jump over to the eyeshadow palette. This is a $20 palette. It does give you 16 shades, so you get some good, I don't know if I'd say variety. I mean, it's a neutral palette, so there's, I mean, you're gonna get a little bit of subtle repetition. Seems like a good mix of mattes and shimmers. I'm curious about these shimmers. I will insert for you guys a close-up of this palette along with some swatches, so you can see the finishes and color comparisons next to each other. These shimmers seem very muted in the pan, so I'm curious to see how these will apply. The one thing I thought about this palette though when I opened it was the pan sizes seem smaller than I expected them too. So I did a little bit of digging just to see, you know, what are we working with here compared to some other eyeshadow palettes that I'm familiar with. Are we getting that much product for a $20 eyeshadow palette? So these each have 0.8 grams of product in them. Just as a comparison, Natasha Denona eyeshadow pans have like 1.26 grams of product in each individual pan. The ColourPop palettes, especially the ones that are a little bit on the smaller side, so this is the Nude Mood palette, these have 1 gram of product inside each pan. And then I also compared it to this Viseart one because I was thinking, this kind of reminds me of the size of the Viseart pans, which are tiny. These also have 1 gram of product inside each little square pan. So a little bit on the small side as far as each pan goes, but you do get 16 shades. So just keep that in mind. If you were curious or if you saw this and you also thought, that seems like a lot of money for a palette that's looks about the size or at least like the shape of a ColourPop palette, that's what you're getting. Okay, let's jump right into it. I'm gonna take my A503 from BK Beauty. And let's start off by let's go all over the lid with a kind of like a fleshy color. This is just a matte cream. I'm gonna take that all over my eyelid. Brighten things up to start. All right, now I wanna take this shade right here. On that same brush, the A503, gonna run this shade slightly through the socket. So if you looked at this and thought that looks very warm, this shade right here is definitely cooler, which is interesting. Actually, now looking at this, I guess this shade down here, you could get a nice warm transition, but some of these other shades are pretty cool. Okay, now we're gonna take a smaller brush. Let's go with my E25 from Sigma. I'm gonna take that same shade, build it up just on the tip, and we're gonna run this under the lower lash line. Right, now let's take a shimmer. Let's go to this one right here. Looks kind of like a nice kind of silvery taupe. Has almost a touch of purple in it. It's a very pretty shimmer formula. It's very subtle though. This kind of reminds me, it actually does remind me of the Viseart shimmer formula. A little bit more mature eye friendly if you don't like something too in your face and shimmery. It's gonna emphasize texture a lot. This is just a subtle bit of shine. I'm gonna take a tiny blending brush. This is the A504. We're gonna go into, let's go with this shade right here. This one also has a bit of sheen to it. I don't know if there's a shimmer in the way that this one is though. It's almost maybe a satin finish, I don't know. Just put this on the inner part of the lid. So one thing I'll say about this palette so far, I can just tell if you're someone that likes to experiment with a little bit of color, a lot of different finishes, this is probably gonna be a little boring for you. It's a very basic palette. It seems really good quality though. I can tell the quality is really nice. Everything's blending really well. The pigmentation's good, but you're not getting like crazy finishes or crazy colors in here. Everything seems kind of like soft and muted. So if that's your thing, if you like just an everyday kind of neutral, the kind of look where people wouldn't necessarily even think that you're wearing eyeshadow. This will probably be a good palette for that kind of style of makeup, I guess. Okay, I could just leave it right there for every day, but because I have more to play with, why don't we deepen up the outer corner a little bit? I want to see how this red, this kind of brownish red goes on. I'm going to take that on this small blending brush again, the A504. Just swirl this along the lash line. It's pretty. I love shades like this. There we go. Very pretty look. Really good quality. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of liner. Probably don't need to. Honestly, this is just habit more than anything. Okay, and now I'm gonna throw on a couple coats of mascara. I'm gonna go with my Diamond Mascara from Physicians Formula. Then I'll come back and we'll tackle the lips. All right, eyes are finished. Very pretty, very elegant looking. Let's move on to the lips last. So I have a new lip liner, same as the old lip liner. This is the Non-Stop Nude from LA Girl. I've been raving about this specific lip liner for years. It's my favorite from the drugstore. It's affordable, even not on sale. You can get this for about $5.99. Tractable, it's the perfect shade. It's very budge proof and long wearing once it sets down. And it goes with anything. If you like a nude lip, or if you want to top it with something more colorful, or just a gloss or lipstick on top, it goes with everything. If you want to get the most out of your long wearing lip liner, make sure that you apply it to your lips without any balm or lipstick or gloss on top. You want them to be dry, and then you want to let it set for a good minute before you top it with a lipstick or a lip gloss. So now that that's been sitting for a minute, let's just throw a little bit of clear gloss on top. Let's go back to my Balmades. I have been loving these so much lately. These were sent to me by Milk Makeup. This one is Ion. These are all so delicious. I've been rotating them in my purses. I only have 3 with me right here. I think the other 4 or 5 are up floating around my car, my different bags. They're so good though. Every time I pull one of these out and I'm in public, my daughter, or if someone's close to me, will like turn around like, is that a popsicle? They smell so good. There we have it. Let's finish off with a little bit of setting spray. I'm gonna take my Pretty Smart setting spray. And there we go. That is the finished makeup look. What do you guys think of this one? Let me know if you guys have tried out some of these products, especially the Versed. I'm very curious about this brand. I haven't heard a ton of people talk about this. I've heard a few people, but I don't know. I feel like this brand's kind of like flying under the radar. If you have any thoughts on any of these other products, if you have some recommendations from RMS Beauty for me, I'd love to hear those down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Stay tuned. I do have my monthly favorites video coming up, as well as some new things from Sydney Grace that I am dying to dip into. So we will do that together soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys are all doing well. If you have not yet subscribed, let me remind you one more time to do that before you leave, and I hopefully will see you in my next video. Bye.